So here's what I've created as an addition to the finances sample database in Airtable. I've created a table called invoicing. Now let's go to invoice by status because this is the easiest way to actually view it. The idea here is that a client is connected to an invoice. We invoice a client, right? So we will fill out the client. We choose a product, and this is a drop down, a regular single select field. You can put product 1, product 2, product 3, whatever your products are. And then there's a function in this field that basically pulls the description based on the product that you choose. So for product 1, the description will be X, and for product 2, the description will be Y. This is a switch function. So it's pulling from product to service, the name of the product, product 1. This needs to be identical, right? This is case sensitive and everything. And then the description of product 1 and the name of product 2 and the description of product 2, etc. Okay, same function is working also for the amount. So for product 1, the cost is this amount, product 2, different amount, product 3, a different amount. Company name is a lookup field based on the client. So is company email. Date created is an automatic field. It will be created automatically. If you need a due date, you can add that here, and we'll talk why you would need that in a minute. And then date paid is when it was paid. Status. Now this is not a status field like a regular single select field. This is also a function. And the way that the status works is if there is a client name and an amount, a sum, a total that they have to pay, then the status is ready to be submitted. And if there's an invoice number, which is automatically filled, we'll talk about how in a minute, it will turn into submitted. And if it's been paid, which is basically if the date paid has been filled, then the status turns to paid. This is linked to webhooks in Zapier that link it to your invoicing tool of choice. So the way that this works is, these are hidden fields, so this is a different view. This is the webhook in Zapier, and you'll see here, there's actually, I didn't really put a URL here, so it's not real. The way that this works is you will pull this webhook from Zapier or Integromat or whatever your tool of choice is, and then this will automatically fill up here. And this, you don't have to touch this, this is a formula, but basically it's pulling the company name, it's pulling the company email, it's pulling the due date if you have it. Well, if you have it, you'd have to add it here. It's pulling all of the data that you're going to want to pass over through Zapier into your invoicing tool. And this is the button of create hook. Now you don't actually want the hook to be created unless you're ready for it. So that's why there's a formula that we have already set here under create that says only put the URL if I'm ready to be created. So how does this work? Well, if I go into invoice setup, it will give me a form. I'm going to open the form. So the first thing it's going to ask me to do is to select a client. And this is linked to our clients table, and I'm just going to select client 1. And then what product or service I want to actually sell them. So let's just say product 1, and I submit. If we go back to our invoicing, invoice by status, we'll see this is product 1 for client 1, description, $1,500. And if we scroll all the way to the right, we'll see this. This is basically the button that I click to create the webhook. To create the invoice. And the way that this works is that if I go in here, this is linking to a Zap. Now, honestly, this Zap is shareable, so you can just copy it and it'll create your webhook. It'll give you your specific URL. This is currently working with Wave, so it's connecting this to Wave. If you click that, it will create an invoice in Wave. And then in Zapier, you set all the settings based on the webhook query data that we're passing through. So we're passing through the client email, and we're passing through the amount, and we're passing through the line item, and we're passing through the description, right? We're passing through everything, and it will automatically create that in Wave. You can do this in Quickbooks, you could do this in Xero, you could do this in Sage, whatever it is that you're working with, okay? And once you've submitted it, that same Zap will automatically return to Airtable the number of the invoice. So let's just say that this is returning the invoice. The Zap would be working. Again, this isn't an active Zap, so it's not going to work. But if I click it here, I'll just say it's 1004. And the minute I do that, the record is moved to submitted, right? And you'll see, there it is. Okay, now let's say it was paid. Again, depending on the tool, if it's QuickBooks or if it's Wave or if it's Sage or if it's Xero, some tools will automatically send the email to the client. Some tools you can actually have it update you when it's been paid, and then you can create a new Zap and that will automatically update the paid date. But let's just say it's not, and we push this to the 24th. Let's say it was paid on the 24th, and lo and behold, it's going to move its status to paid. And this is the way that this works. So in order to set this up, what you need to do is, number one, create in Zapier the Zap. Copy it from here. This is shared, so you can copy. You don't have to do any of the work. I've already done it for you. You just have to map the fields. Next thing you want to do is you want to go into the function, into the product and services drop down, and update the names of your products and services, and then into the function of description to update their description, and into the function of amount to update the cost. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to go to webhook formulas and update the URL that you get for the webhook from Zapier into this. You only have to update it in the formula itself. It'll update all the fields the same. Everything else will be automatic, and you now have an invoicing system that is foolproof and automatic, and you can save so much time on bookkeeping. Best of luck.